Like all these families, like the DiLorenzos, they're gone. The parents are gone. Like, I'll never see these people again. And I was listening to music while I was writing it. And it was going through the whole loop, you know, Soundgarden, Alice in Chains, fucking Judas Priest. It just was going through the loop, and it came down to like the disco version. I was sitting there for so long, and a disco song came on, and it was from, you know, the 80s, the early 80s, and it just brought me back to that for like 10 fucking minutes. It just took me there, like transported me there. I got happy, I got sad, I thought about the people aren't around no more. And, you know, growing up, guys, I got to be honest with you. I'm very honest with you. Whether you read the book or my earlier podcasts and stuff, yes, I fucking suffered as a child without a family. But I got to tell you something. What I had, most people will never fucking know. Like, I didn't have a family, and I got one now, and it's okay. But back then, it started like I was struggling. My friends were keeping me alive when I was 17 and 16. By the time I got to like 18, I was never doing better. But just the involvement, the full day involvement with them, I wouldn't even think of my mother and father till the end of the fucking day when I laid down, and I would cry a little bit or whatever the fuck. But what I had as friends at that time, like my little crew, Fernie, Roger, Glenn Conti, fucking, you know, Rago, Guy Tabasco, Runny, you know, our crew. Like, that'll never happen in my life again. Like, and I felt a little bit of it with Joe and Ari and Duncan and Josh and all the other comedians. You know, I was friends with Bert and Tom. But these guys were the people who introduced me to that feeling. We were buddies. We lived and died for one another. Think about it, guys. I didn't go home to a mom at the end of the day. I didn't go home to a dad at the end of the day, or not even a family member. These were people that I met going to school and playing basketball, and all of a sudden I was in their homes eating. And, you know, Carlos and Dee Dee, fucking their mother, give me a bigger piece of chicken than she gave her own kids. And it was just a beautiful fucking thing that it's what kept me alive, guys, because I don't know what I would have done with my fucking life. I don't know if I would have jumped. I don't know if I would have OD'd. It always gave me a reason to get up. Like, their love always was like, you know what? Maybe I should give it another day before I decide to put those cement shoes on. You know what I'm saying? So, and I never really thought of suicide except maybe one time when I was done. It was coke, and when you added coke to the mix to what you're feeling. But it made me realize about how we deal with different things as humans or whatever. Because if Mike or Lee or whatever would have seen me, they would have go, Joey's fine. Joey's fucking fine. He's crazier than ever. He's cracking jokes. He's smoking pot. He's eating edibles. But it's not what Lee and Mike saw in our daily interactions. It's what I felt. You know, even though I was okay on the outside, there was a fucking silent storm going through me. And a lot of you people have gone through that, where you're involved in something, you work, something's going on that's just, it eats you alive every day inside. But every day you win. You don't let it get to you. It finally got to me when I was like 25, 24, and I ended up kidnapping that poor bastard. You know, just the whole fucking mind felt backfired. It becomes a mental health issue, and I understand that now. Now I look at my behavior back then, those couple of years. But that was one of the reasons I couldn't walk into that reunion. And don't get me wrong, I had dear friends that were going to be there, from the Messinas to Avillo to fucking Merlot, you know, Chucky McBreen, Ralph. I had so many friends of mine that were going to go. But what didn't let me go is that I have a dear friend that always says you can't go back. He's a firm believer in that you can't go back. You can't fucking go back. And I'm not talking about going to a reunion. I'm talking about in your mind, putting yourself back there or putting yourself in a predicament. And I don't mind that. I live in the fucking past from time to time because it builds my confidence. I don't know. It just, whenever I'm feeling down, I think about what I went through back then, even though listen, today I feel a complete different thing. I got a daughter, I got a wife, you know, yeah, I think about my mom every once in a while. This week I had to send pictures, additional pictures, and I had to scan them through my iPad. And that's completely different than when you look at a picture on the fucking wall. When I scanned them in my iPod, I got to see them without the glass and without the whole thing. And oh my God, I was like taken away. Like I had forgotten what my mother looked like. Like you just see like these little pictures and shit like that. And you're like, oh my God, look at my mom, you know? So it was one of those weeks, guys. And I spoke to a lot of people who were going. But yesterday, Saturday, we had a fucking softball game, right? So it was a 3 o'clock fucking game. The game ended at 5. And all the moms were like, what the fuck are we doing? You know, what are we going to do? The dads were like, we got a couple parents had plans, but I was like, you know what? Just get some beers and come into the fucking house. By 7 o'clock last night, I probably had 10 kids over here running from the top to the bottom. Top to the bottom. You didn't see any of my cats for hours. Those motherfuckers were hitting under rocks and the whole thing. And I had like 10 parents in the living room talking. We made cheeseburgers. She made some flank steak. And we sat there till 10 o'clock at night. And I felt bad, but at the same time, this is my new life. What do you want me to do? I can't walk away from these people. But the reunion wouldn't have felt the same anyway. Because even though I had friends there, nobody from that crew in high school was going to go. I mean, one guy flipped a wagon. Roger passed away. Glenn had plans already, and he said it wasn't for him, and I understood. And I said, you know what? If my core is not going to go, it wouldn't feel the same to me. And I started missing my friend Darren Rago, too. I was like, God damn. It has been so long since like coming home has made me miss him. Darren was my buddy that was out of his fucking bird. But, you know, we were friends since like 1975, and then we grew up together, and then I disappeared when I came back in 93. He became my fucking unofficial comedy driver. He would work at the airport and do all this thing, and it doesn't matter, but I just missed him. For the first time in a long time, I fucking missed him. And now I'm going into the home stretch because I don't know if you guys remember, my mom died November 8th. So now next weekend is when that whole process of a death started. I went to a party, a Halloween party. I don't even know what I dressed up like that year. I do know what I dressed up that year, and I won't say it because I'll be accused of different things. But in 1979, we were just stupid fucking kids, and nobody was making a big deal about anything. In fact, I lost my sheet somewhere on Kennedy Boulevard that night, so it didn't fucking matter. And I went to this party, and it was a fucking tremendous party in an attic. It was in an attic. And this party was by invite only. No young kids were going to, but like, there was not supposed to be any sophomores there or anything. But one of the guys invited us. His brother was going. And he goes, you come with me. And to get upstairs to the party, you had to go through a ladder and then climb up out a fucking hole and land. So it's a big attic. And in the middle of this fucking attic was a hole where you would go down the stairs. I can't tell you how many people fell down that fucking hole that night while we were doing. And it was 79. It was great fucking acid. We were talking about one of the parents the other day. We were talking about those mushrooms. I gave them a few mushroom gummies, and we were giggling. They were like, you know, it's always fun to go out on these. I go, you know what the best thing about any hallucinogenic is? Like, especially acid. Like when you're fucking burning on acid. Me, Mike, and Lee take a hit of acid, and we go to a bar or a party, whatever, barbecue. And sometime when we're there, we get broken up into different groups, okay? And this is phenomenal because we're tripping on acid, and we're not saying much. People are telling us shit, and we're watching them. Like, we're like, yeah. Little do they know, your hair's on fire to me. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm talking to you, but your eyeballs are flipping, your hair's on fire. And guys, not now. Not the acid we did in the church and stuff. When I was growing up, that's the type of acid I would get. That I would be talking to you, and your eyes would be red and shit. And I'm like, oh, I can't do this no more. And you always get caught in an ear beating. But you know what makes it the best when you're tripping with your friends? That I'm talking to this guy, and all of a sudden I'll look over to see where Mike and Lee is, and the universe makes us all look at each other at the same time. And guys, it's the fucking universe. You just go, and all of a sudden Mike will look at me, and Lee will look at me, and we'll all look at each other and go, And then we'll go right back to what we're doing like nothing happened. And we'll keep doing that every 30 minutes. You know, and it was one of those nights where, you know, you have I didn't really have a curfew. But I had to be home. I had rules. There was rules. I had a call. And I'll never forget that they had a clock, one of those bar clocks on the wall. And every time I looked at it with the acid, an hour would pass. And it felt like 10 minutes. Like, boom, fuck, 11. Boom, midnight. What the fuck? So I'm supposed to meet this girl. It was fucking crazy. This is acid time. This ain't fucking Armenian time. This ain't nothing. You know how people say they run on black time or Brazilian time, they're 15 minutes late? This was acid time where that clock does not fucking stop. So this girl, I was supposed to meet this girl for the first time. We were supposed to hook up on the sly. I knew her from high school, and her girlfriend came to me and said she wanted to hook up with me, and her girlfriend wanted to hook up with my buddy. So we had a plan to meet them like at fucking midnight. But this blonde shows up at like 11:30, great friend of mine, best friends with the girl I'm supposed to meet. And she goes, listen, the girl I was supposed to meet you is hammered. She's at a different party on 74th Street, and she sent me here to tell you to walk over there. And I'm like, what? I'm not fucking going over there. I'm stoned to the gills here. I'm fucking seeing angels and shit. So she goes, no, come on. It's 4 blocks away. Come on. It's 4 blocks away. And I'm like, fuck. I got my fucking costume half ripped. I'm tripping my ass off. I'll never forget that when I got to the bottom of the ladder, there was a guy with his head in a bucket, like a spackle bucket. He was just fucking puking. I looked at him for a little while. It was fucking horrible. I walked out to Kennedy Boulevard, and I'm walking down Kennedy Boulevard with this girl who's my age, but she's dating a fucking monster of a senior, or he's in college. This guy was a fucking monster. And as me and her are walking, her boyfriend pulls up, and he goes, hey, what the fuck is going on? Why are you with Coco? And I'm like, it ain't that type of party. I was shitting pickles, you know? He gets out of the car. I'm fucking petrified. I'm just walking to a party with this girl. He gets out of the car. He's like, what the fuck? So now he's like, get in the fucking car. I go, dog, nothing was happening. He goes, whatever. I'll deal with you on fucking Monday, cocksucker. And he's yelling at the girl, and he pushes her. And I jump in between him. I go, dog, what the fuck?